You ever had life blindside you out of nowhere? One day you're on autopilot, just clocking in, clocking out, thinking you've got your next 5 years all mapped out, and then something happens that flips the whole board upside down. That's how God works sometimes. No warning, no heads up, just a divine interruption. And you sit there wondering what went wrong, but nothing went wrong. It just went different. At first, it feels like your whole world is shaking, like you've lost your footing and can't find balance anymore. You start questioning everything you thought was solid, every plan you thought was foolproof. You try to keep things together, but deep down, you know this isn't something you can patch up. That's because it's not broken. It's being rebuilt. And while you're busy trying to hold the old pieces together, God is already sketching out something new. You can't see it yet because it hasn't taken shape, but He's rearranging things behind the curtain. You think it's chaos, but it's actually construction. You can't make sense of it yet because it's not done forming. The shift will mess with your emotions. It'll make you doubt yourself, your decisions, even your prayers. You'll look at your life and say, "This ain't what I asked for." And God will whisper, "It's what you need." Because when He steps in, He doesn't just tweak little details. He changes everything from the ground up. You may try to go back to how it used to be, but it won't feel the same anymore. What once satisfied you will start to feel empty. That's not you being ungrateful. That's you outgrowing where you've been. When God shifts you, He disconnects you from what can't go with you. It won't make sense to everybody watching. They'll think you've lost it, walking away from things they would have begged to have. They won't understand that you're not walking away from something. You're walking toward something, and it's something only you and God can see right now. And one day you'll look back and realize that the thing you thought was breaking you was the exact thing that saved you. That shift you didn't see coming became the turning point you always needed. There comes a point where staying where you are starts to hurt more than moving forward. It creeps in slow. Then one day it hits you all at once. That ache, that restlessness, that gnawing feeling that this ain't it. And you fight it because it's familiar, even if it's painful. But God will use that discomfort to push you out of places that are killing your purpose. Pain has a way of making you reevaluate everything. It strips the pretty off things you once tolerated. It forces you to stop pretending it's okay when it's not. You can smile for the world, but you can't lie to your soul. And when that pain gets loud enough, you stop negotiating with your future. You don't usually leave something until it hurts too much to stay, and sometimes that's what God has to allow, enough pressure to make you pack your bags, not because He's cruel, but because He knows you won't move otherwise. We rarely leave comfort voluntarily, even when comfort is killing us. When everything gets too tight, you stop asking for signs and start taking steps. That's what pain does. It wakes you up. It clears your vision. It makes you brave enough to do what fear told you you couldn't. And once you start moving, momentum takes over. It won't feel pretty. You might cry through it, stumble through it, question God in the middle of it. That's part of the process. Growth always feels like breaking before it feels like becoming. The pain is just the shell cracking open because what's inside can't stay hidden anymore. And when you finally step out, you'll realize that the pain wasn't punishment. It was permission. Permission to leave, to heal, to want more. It was God saying, "You've outgrown this place, now let's go." And you'll find yourself grateful for what once made you miserable because it forced you to move when you didn't want to. Sometimes God doesn't just close the door, He slams it. So hard you can still hear the echo weeks later. And you stand there with your hand on the handle, wondering why it had to end like that. You thought it was forever, and it turned out to be for a season. That kind of ending hurts like hell. You'll replay it in your mind, looking for clues you missed. You'll wonder if you could have done something different, something better, something more. That's human. But sometimes it wouldn't have mattered what you did. It was never meant to last. You were trying to stretch temporary into permanent. That door closing is protection, even if it feels like rejection. God saw something behind it that you didn't. You saw potential. He saw danger. You saw security. He saw limitation. He knew staying there would cost you what he put in you, so he shut it down, not to hurt you, but to save you. The sound of that door slamming will wake something up in you. It'll shake off complacency. It'll make you stop settling for crumbs when you were made for tables. And as much as it stings, you'll realize it freed you from a room that was shrinking you. You might stand outside that door for a while, grieving what you thought you lost. That's okay. Grief is part of growth. But eventually, you've got to turn around. Because while you're staring at what ended, new doors are swinging open behind you. It's hard to move forward while you're clinging to a handle that won't turn anymore. Sometimes faith is as simple as letting go. Let the door stay closed. Don't kick it. Don't beg it. Don't try to jimmy it open. Just walk away. And you'll see that what you thought was the end was just the exit that led to everything you were praying for. We think faith is about feeling fearless, but it's not. Faith is about moving forward while your hands are trembling and your voice is shaking. It's about saying yes when nothing around you looks stable. That's what stepping out scared looks like. And that's usually how God launches change. You won't feel ready. You'll keep waiting to feel qualified, prepared, perfect. That feeling never comes. If you wait to feel fearless, you'll stay stuck forever. The people you admire didn't start confident. They started scared out of their minds. But they started anyway. That first step is always the hardest. It feels like you're walking off a cliff with no parachute. But here's the thing. You don't get the parachute until your feet leave the ledge. God won't hand you proof while you're standing still. He gives provision in motion. Stepping out scared will make your heart race. You'll second-guess yourself 100 times. You'll want to run back to what's familiar, even if it was suffocating you. But if you can take one step, just one, the fear will start to lose its grip. Courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about not letting fear have the final vote. Every step you take while scared builds something inside you. It strengthens your spiritual spine. It makes you dangerous to every doubt that tried to keep you small. People might call you reckless, impulsive, crazy. They won't see that it's actually obedience. They don't hear what you heard in the quiet, that whisper that said, go. And you can't expect them to understand what it wasn't spoken to them. And once you start walking scared, you'll realize you're not walking alone. God steps on the path with you the moment you move your feet. When God starts changing your life, you'll notice people start disappearing. Not always dramatically. Sometimes they just stop calling, stop showing up, stop being available. At first you'll take it personal, but don't. Some people are only assigned to certain seasons. Everybody can't go where God is taking you. It's not because they're bad people. It's because their chapter in your story is over. And if you try to drag them into your next season, they'll weigh you down. You can't soar while you're tied to what won't move. It'll hurt, especially when it's people you thought would be there forever. But longevity doesn't equal destiny. Just because someone's been in your life a long time doesn't mean they're meant to be there for the long haul. God will allow relationships to dissolve quietly so you don't get distracted arguing over why. He knows if it ended loud, you'd stay stuck trying to fix it. So sometimes he just lets it fade. And fading doesn't mean failure. It means fulfillment of their assignment. You'll look around and see empty seats where people used to sit, and it'll feel lonely. But that space is making room for who's coming next. Every exit creates space for a new entrance. Trust that the right people will find you at the right level. And when those new people come, they'll speak to the version of you that's still becoming. They won't be intimidated by your growth. They'll water it. They won't compete with your calling. They'll support it. That's how you'll know they're from God. And you'll stop mourning who left because you'll be too busy building with who stayed. There comes a time where heaven goes quiet on you. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because God is working on things you can't see yet. You'll pray, and it feels like your words are bouncing off the ceiling. You'll read scripture, and it feels dry, like nothing is clicking. It's frustrating when you're used to feeling God, and suddenly all you get is silence. In that silence, doubt tries to sneak in. You start wondering if maybe you missed something, maybe you got off track. You question if he's still listening, still guiding, still there. Silence will make you feel abandoned if you let your feelings do the talking. But silence isn't absence, it's strategy. God does his best work in silence. When seeds are planted, they don't make noise while they grow. The roots grow deep in the dark, quietly building strength before they break the surface. That's what's happening with you. Unseen growth, silent strengthening. You can't see it yet, but it's happening. This season teaches you to trust what he said, not just what you feel. Feelings will lie to you. Silence will make you think God has stopped moving when he's actually moving more than ever. He's setting up details, aligning pieces, orchestrating things that would overwhelm you if you saw them too soon. It will test your patience. You'll want to make something happen just to break the quiet. You'll be tempted to force doors open just so you can feel like something's moving. But forced movement isn't progress. Silence is sacred space. Let it shape you instead of trying to escape it. If you stay still long enough, you'll start to notice subtle shifts, small confirmations, little reminders, whispers through unexpected places. God speaks softly during silence to train your ear to catch what others miss. That's how he prepares leaders, in the quiet, not the crowd. And when he finally speaks again, you'll realize why he had to go quiet. Because what he's about to say will change everything you thought you knew. Out of nowhere, something will show up that makes no logical sense. You weren't on the list, you didn't have the qualifications, your name wasn't in the room, and yet there it is, sitting in your lap like it was hand-delivered. That's what favor looks like. It's not fair, it's divine. At first, you'll try to talk yourself out of it. You'll say, I'm not ready, or they must have made a mistake because it won't fit your resume. But favor doesn't check resumes. It checks alignment. If God wants you there, you'll get in, even if the door says closed. People will be confused by it. They'll wonder how you got picked when they've been grinding for years. They'll look at your background and not see what God saw. That's fine. They don't have to understand it. This ain't about them. It's about obedience meeting opportunity. That opportunity will feel bigger than you. That's how you know it's from God. If it were small enough for you to handle alone, it wouldn't require faith. He'll give you something so big that it forces you to depend on him. That's not intimidation, that's invitation. It'll feel surreal, like you're standing in rooms you once dreamed about, having conversations you used to imagine. Don't shrink to fit the old version of yourself. Walk in like you belong, because if God opened the door, then you do. You'll be tempted to over-explain, to prove you deserve to be there. Don't. Let your fruit speak. Let your excellence speak. Favor doesn't argue, it performs. You don't have to convince anybody when God already confirmed you. And once you experience that kind of favor, you'll stop striving for man's approval because you'll know God's approval outranks it all. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools you have when everything is shifting. It's easy to be thankful when the miracle shows up, but the real power is thanking him while it's still messy. Gratitude in the middle keeps your spirit steady when everything else is unstable. Your mind will try to focus on what's missing. It'll point out every unanswered prayer, every delay, every disappointment. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's lasting. It reminds you that even in the storm, you still have shelter. Even in the waiting, you're still waking up. Gratitude softens your heart when life tries to harden it. Bitterness can creep in when things don't go your way, but gratitude blocks it. It refuses to let pain make you cold. It says, I may not be where I want to be yet, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. You have to practice it intentionally. Write it down, speak it out loud, tell God thank you for the smallest things. A breath, a new day, a chance to try again. When you stay grateful in the little, it keeps you humble when the big arrives. Gratitude also attracts peace. Worry and gratitude can't live in the same space. When you choose gratitude, anxiety starts losing its power. You stop obsessing over what could go wrong and start appreciating what's already right. The enemy hates a grateful heart because it's hard to discourage someone who keeps seeing reasons to praise. Gratitude is a weapon. It disarms fear, it disrupts doubt, it reminds you who's really in control. You fight best when your hands are lifted in thanks, not clenched in fear. And when the breakthrough does come, gratitude ensures you don't forget who brought you there. Faith isn't grown in comfort. It's stretched in chaos. God will put you in situations that are bigger than you just to show you He's bigger than the situation. It'll feel like He's pushing you past your limits, but He's really expanding them. Stretching hurts because it pulls you past what's familiar. You'll want to run back to what's safe, even if it's small. But you can't fit new blessings inside old boundaries. God has to stretch you so you can carry what's coming. During that stretch, everything in you will scream, "This is too much." That's normal. Faith is like a muscle. It grows through resistance. The heavier the weight, the stronger you become. What you think is breaking you is actually building you. You'll feel vulnerable, exposed, like you don't have it together. That's okay. God doesn't need you to have it all together. He needs you to stay available. The stretch teaches you to rely on His strength instead of your own. Stretching also strips away pride. It reminds you that you can't do this in your own power. You'll pray more, lean more, trust more. It creates intimacy between you and God that success alone can't produce. And one day, what once stretched, you will become your new normal. You'll look back and think, "I remember when this terrified me," and now it's the territory you walk in daily. That's what stretching does. It transforms fear into familiarity. And when the next stretch comes, you won't panic. You'll recognize it as preparation. There's a moment where you stop fighting to control everything and you just surrender. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes, stop holding on to what's slipping away, and finally open your hands. That moment is terrifying and freeing. Control is rooted in fear. Fear of losing, fear of failing, fear of the unknown. We think if we hold tighter, we'll be safe, but God can't fill hands that are clenched. Letting go isn't weakness, it's trust in motion. You'll wrestle with it. You'll want to bargain, to delay, to get one more confirmation. But there comes a point where holding on is heavier than releasing. That's when you know it's time. When the thing you're gripping starts draining the life out of you, it's not yours anymore. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means giving God room to be God. It means saying, "I don't have to understand this to trust it." It's laying down your plan so He can pick up your destiny. It will feel like free falling at first. You'll panic, wondering what's going to catch you, but every single time you'll land in grace. God won't let you fall apart. He'll let you fall into place. And when you finally release it, peace will flood in like a tide. The chaos won't stop immediately, but your soul will calm. You'll realize you were never really in control anyway. You were just exhausting yourself trying to be. And in that surrender, God will do more in 5 minutes than you could have done in 5 years. Right before everything shifts, it's going to look like nothing's working, like you're praying harder and things are getting worse. That's the test before the turnaround. The enemy always throws his hardest punch right before your breakthrough. Tests feel unfair. You'll wonder why people who don't even try seem to be winning while you keep losing ground. It'll make you question if obedience is worth it. But tests are never about comfort. They're about readiness. God's checking if your character can carry what you've been asking for. The test will stretch your patience. It'll make you want to quit, to settle, to walk away. You'll feel invisible, overlooked, forgotten. But what's really happening is refinement. God is polishing what He's about to present. In the test, emotions get loud. Fear, doubt, exhaustion. They'll all try to drown out your faith. That's why you have to cling to what God promised, not what you see. The test is designed to shake your sight, not your faith. Most people quit in the hallway. They get tired waiting for the door to open and walk away one turn too soon. Don't do that. Hold your ground even when it feels like quicksand. Keep showing up even when nothing's showing up for you yet. The test won't last forever. No storm does. And when it lifts, it'll be like stepping out of a tunnel into sunlight. You'll be stronger, sharper, more chored than you were before. And that's when the turnaround hits like a flood. When God starts shifting things, it usually shows up small. Tiny open doors, little answered prayers, small nudges of favor. If you're not careful, you'll overlook them because they don't look dramatic enough. But small wins are seeds of big change. Celebrating the small builds momentum. It reminds your soul that God is moving, even if it's inch by inch. Every small win is evidence that He hasn't forgotten you. That's why you can't treat them like coincidences. They're confirmations. Small wins strengthen your confidence. They give you courage to keep pushing when progress feels slow. Faith grows when it's watered with celebration. What you celebrate multiplies. Gratitude turns drips into downpours. They also train your perspective. If you only praise God for the massive miracles, you'll miss His fingerprints in the daily details. Seeing Him in the small makes it easier to trust Him for the big. Don't despise slow beginnings. Every giant oak started as a tiny seed. Every empire began as one decision. The small is where greatness is born. If you stay faithful with little, God will trust you with more. The world celebrates big leaps, but heaven celebrates faithful steps. Step after step, win after win, faith after faith. That's how the foundation for greatness is laid. And by the time the big breakthrough hits, you'll have the faith muscles to carry it without collapsing. God can change your surroundings, but if your mindset stays stuck, you'll sabotage the new with the old. Change on the outside demands change on the inside. New levels require new thinking. Old mindsets are sneaky. They whisper, "You don't deserve this," or "This won't last." They'll make you play small even when God is trying to make you stand tall. If you don't confront them, they'll convince you to walk away from blessings meant for you. You have to start speaking differently. Speak life even when you still see lack. Speak purpose when you still see problems. Your words are steering your future. Make sure they're not steering you back into old cycles. Renewing your mind takes work. You have to rewire old patterns, challenge lies you believed for years, and replace them with truth. It's uncomfortable, but necessary. Freedom always starts in your head before it shows up in your hands. Mindset shifts also require new environments. You can't think bigger while surrounded by people committed to staying small. Find voices that stretch you, not shrink you. Who you listen to shapes what you believe. Once your mind shifts, everything else follows. Opportunities feel different. Relationships feel different. Even setbacks don't shake you the same way because you start seeing through faith, not fear. And when your mind catches up to what God is doing, you become unstoppable. Then it happens. The floodgates open. Everything you prayed for, cried for, waited for starts showing up. It won't come gradual. It'll come like a wave. One door after another, one yes after another, favor stacking on favor. It'll surreal, like you're walking through a dream with your eyes open. You'll have moments where you sit in the middle of it and just whisper, "God, this is really happening." And it'll hit you. Every delay was building this. People will call it sudden, but you'll know it was years in the making. All the times you wanted to quit, all the nights you questioned if it was worth it, they were the soil. The harvest doesn't show up until the seed has been buried long enough. This kind of blessing won't be something you can take credit for. It'll be too big, too precise, too perfect. Even people who don't believe will say, "Only God could have done that." That's how He gets the glory. It won't just meet your needs, it'll exceed them. God doesn't do half measures. He blesses in overflow. So much you can't hold it all, can't explain it all, can't deny it even if you tried. And it won't just bless you. It'll spill over and bless everyone connected to you, the kind of blessing that makes other people believe again, the kind that revives hope just by witnessing it, And when it shows up, it'll make every closed door, every sleepless night, every tear-stained pillow make sense. When God elevates you, it's not just about enjoying the blessing. It's about carrying it well. Blessings come with responsibility. He's not just giving you more to make you comfortable. He's giving you more so you can impact more. Success will test your humility. It's easy to start thinking you did it by yourself when you're standing on the mountaintop. But you didn't. God opened the doors, gave the strength, sustained you through the process. Never forget who brought you here. The new level also requires new discipline. What you could get away with in the last season won't fly in this one. More eyes, more pressure, more weight. It's not punishment, it's stewardship. Carry it with integrity. People will start looking to you for guidance, for hope, for example. You become the blueprint for someone else's faith. Handle it carefully. How you carry the blessing will determine how long you keep it. You'll have to make tougher decisions. Say no more often. Set boundaries that protect your purpose. The blessing can't become the distraction. Guard what God gave you so it doesn't get wasted. Use your platform to lift others. Blessings multiply when they flow through you, not just to you. The higher you go, the more people you can reach if you stay grounded. And when you treat the blessing like a calling instead of a trophy, God will keep trusting you with more. When everything changes, the temptation is to settle, to say, "This is enough," and stop stretching. But God didn't bring you this far to stop here. One breakthrough isn't the finish line, it's the starting gate for the next. Comfort can become a cage. You'll start protecting what you have instead of pursuing what's next. But faith is forward. It doesn't camp, it climbs. If you stop moving, you'll miss. Rest of what God wants to do. There's always more in you than you think. More potential, more impact, more destiny. Just because you've accomplished something doesn't mean you're done. It means you're capable of even greater. Keep dreaming bigger. Keep setting goals that scare you. Keep chasing visions that make you depend on God all over again. The moment you stop needing faith, you stop growing. There will be resistance. New levels come with new challenges. Don't interpret opposition as a sign to stop. It's proof you're pushing into new territory. Resistance is just confirmation you're moving forward. Surround yourself with people who remind you there's more. People who won't let you shrink. People who say, "Don't you dare stop now." The right voices will keep your fire lit when fatigue tries to dim it. And as you keep going, you'll realize that God never runs out of more